about their similarities. So second point I would like to talk about is their similarities. Okay. Okay. Now we'll talk about their how they are similar to each other. Okay. Point by point we will talk about it. The first point I would like to talk about here is we know that both are heterogeneous data elements are allowed for both. The first similarity, yeah, good morning, Daljit. So first similarity I would like to talk about is heterogeneous. Okay, data elements, heterogeneous data elements are allowed. So in both of them, whether it is list or whether it is tuple, we know that heterogeneous data elements are allowed. For example, okay, for example, if you see here that I can create a list with a square brackets and I can write the data as 1 comma 2, a floating point data, a string data, okay, a complex data. We already seen that we can have heterogeneous data elements in a list. It's not like regular arrays in other languages. Okay, as in other languages, we used to have similar data elements. An array contains similar data elements. But list is something different. List can contain heterogeneous data element. So it can contain integers, float, and whatever the string you wanted to take it. Similarly, you have tuple, and only difference is you need to put parenthesis. We also learn that parenthesis is not important. Okay, even without parenthesis will always be taken as a tuple only. Okay, will always be taken as a tuple. Whenever you have a comma separated value, will always be considered as a tuple. The parenthesis is not important here. But anyhow, parenthesis uh, tells that it's a tuple, but generally the comma operator, when you put it, Python by default will always treat it as a tuple. Okay, so this is first point about similarity, like both are contain heterogeneous data element. Okay, most importantly, we'll talk about differences today in detail. So that we'll get how they are different from each other. Anyhow, few points we got it from the creating from list and tuple, that how they are different from each other, but we'll talk about their similarities and we'll talk about their differences. So the next thing I would like to talk about is insertion order. Insertion order is preserved. Insertion order is preserved, meaning that the way you insert it will be maintained as it is. It will be preserved actually. Okay, meaning for example, if you say, for example, L is equal to 1, comma 2, comma 3, comma 4, we know that it will be as it is. That a value will not be changed. Okay. Why these points are important? Because when we generally compare one data structure with other data structure, then all this point matters, because some data structure may not maintain the insertion order. Like if you go for set, if you go for dictionaries and all, they don't maintain any data structure. They don't preserve the insertion order. So that's why you cannot access them with index. As they maintain the insertion order, that's why we can access them with index. L of 0 will definitely give you 1. Okay, so that's why it is index based actually. But if you go for other data structures in Python, you may not use these index values because they are not preserved. The insertion order may change. 4 may come here, 2 may go there, and also it is not preserved. So index value does not make sense there. That is why the insertion order will be preserved. You can access with the index value here now. Okay, same like with tuple. Tuple also you can create a tuple like this. Even tuple have the index values like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and all. So you can use this index value 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, 0, 1, 2, 3, and also it is preserved. That way, when you just see this, you can also say t of 0 will also return you 1 in this case now. Okay, so that's way I can prove that the insertion order will be preserved, and to access these elements you can make use of the index value. Okay, so that is the second point. I hope it's straightforward. We already discussed about it, but let me check, is these 2 points clear for everyone? Okay, yeah, thank you, Obul. Yeah, thank you, Nitin. Thank you, Satyam. Thank you, Saif. Okay, everybody says thank you. Yes, thank you very much. So let's go here and talk about the third point here. The third point I would like to talk about, yeah, Shekhawat, no problem. We just discussed these two basic points. Yeah, but it's very straightforward, Shekhawat. We already discussed about it. Like by no need for explanation, you can easily understand that heterogeneous data elements are allowed in both. We are actually talking about the similarities, Shekhawat. We're talking about its similarities, like how they are similar to each other. Means what are the similarities you have? So both allowed heterogeneous data elements, both insertion order will be preserved. Heterogeneous data elements means you can have multiple data elements which can be of different data type. Insertion order means the order will be preserved, it's not going to change. That's why you can access them with the index value. Okay, the third point we will be talking about is duplicates are allowed in both of them. Duplicates elements are allowed. Okay, duplicates elements are allowed in both list and the tuple now. Okay, let's say for example, I can just have an example like this. Okay, example, I can have L is equal to 1 comma 2 comma 2 comma 1 comma 3. Okay, so perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong here now. Even in tuple, I can have the same way 1 comma 1 comma 2 comma 1 comma 5. So even in tuple, duplicate elements are allowed. Okay, so let's do one small exercise here so that you can understand. Okay, the thing. So I would like to give you one small exercise here now. Okay, let us talk about it. The exercise is here. First program. Okay, the program. What you have to do is you have to write a Python program. You have to write a Python program. Okay, to accept list from user, or you can accept multiple elements from user, and okay, and delete delete duplicate elements. Delete duplicate elements. You have to delete any duplicate elements from that list. So we learned that list allows duplicate element, but I wanted you to write a program so that you can delete the duplicates element from the list. I hope the question is clear. Like for example, in our example, if the things has been given like this, example, if it is like 1, 2, 2, okay, 1, comma 3, whatever you take as a list or a comma separated, whatever you wanted to take it, it's up to you. Okay, but output should be like 1, 2, and 3. So any duplicate elements should be removed. Any duplicate element should be removed and it should give you only 1, 2, 3. Okay, so please make it fast so that we can go and talk about more points in detail today. Is it completed? We have a lot more points to discuss. So okay, Vishwajit, I hope you're done with that. Very good. Anybody else completed? So Shikawat, Aditi, let me check. Yeah, Prashanti, Rajshekhar, Snehal, Saif, Nitin. Okay, you may be doing it. That's good if you write a logic and implement. I'll leave it to you, but I'll show you one shortcut, okay, for doing this. So you can just do this in a shortcut way, but writing a logic is always good. If you're thinking for a logic, it's good. But you need to keep checking everything, and if we found that element is equal, you simply remove that element. Okay, you can remove that element. So that's one way. Another way is I'll show you the shortcut way now. Okay, so this is something new to you, so I didn't expected the same code here, but let me show you that how you actually do it. Okay, we know that how we take a list from user and how we take multiple elements from user. Let's see how we take multiple elements from user. I can say L is equal to input. L is equal to input dot split. Input dot split. So that way it will take multiple elements from user now in the list. Okay, perfect. So you're saying empty list, and if for I is not in list and you're appending it. Yeah, that's perfectly good, Satyam. Okay, so Satyam has sent us the code where he's creating another list, and if it is not in list, okay, then you're adding that list to another list. Now, perfect. But you can have a different logic here, Satyam. You can also use one of the method called remove method from the same list, Satyam. You can remove element from that. You found the element and you remove that element from the same list. Okay, that is one way. Anyhow, we will do that as well, but I'll show you a shortcut way, guys. The shortcut way is I'm going to not introducing, but I'm going to use another data structure called set data structure. Why I wanted to introduce set data structure, because I told you that one data type or one data structure will be differentiate with other data structure with these points actually. Like I told you, like set does not allow this insertion order. Dictionary does not allow this insertion order. Similarly, set does not allow the duplicate elements actually. Set data structure does not allow the duplicate element. So what you can do is if you convert this into set, automatically duplicate elements will be deleted. If you convert this into set, automatically the duplicate elements will be deleted. Let me print L here now, and next time I will say L is equal to, or I can say S is equal to, okay, I need to create a set. So I will use this function called set, and I will create a set out of it now. So once I create a set, and then I will convert back into list and I will print it. List of S will convert into list and it will print it. You store it and print it whatever you want. Okay, better you can store it and print it, so that list will get changed now. So L is equal to list of S. L is equal to list of S, and I can print it out. I can print it out here now. So print L here now. So you can see that very simple code. You can reduce the line of code, but it's very one line code actually. So you just convert into set, because set will not contain duplicate elements, so it will automatically remove the duplicate elements. Suppose I entered something like 1, 2, 2, 1, okay, 3, and 1. Now you'll see, first time it's printing me 1, 2, 2, 3, okay, 1, 3, 1, but it's printing me here 2, 1, and 3. 2, 1, and 3. But you don't want to print it as a list, you want to print it as a thing, then you can always use this join method. You know that join method will do that. Okay, so you can say, okay, join this with a space. Okay, join this with a space. So that's why I told you these methods are so useful, guys. These methods are so useful that always you can do this, so that you will not get that list kind of output. Sometimes the output looks odd, so you can do something like this. Okay, so based on like 1, 2, 2, 1, 3, and 1. Now you see it's perfectly printing me. It's printing me 3 to 1 because I told you the insertion order will not be preserved. In set, when you convert into set, it will not preserve any insertion order, so that's why the order got changed. The order got changed. Every time you see, the order is getting changed. So first time it print me 213, next time it got 321. So order is changed. Okay, but it's perfectly fine that it has been removed the duplicate elements from that. But if you wanted to maintain the order as well, then you can write the logic of it. Like you can just check each element. If it is not in that, we can simply remove that element from that list. Okay, or both first and second element is equal, then you can remove the element from the list. But most of the people will prefer this way because it's easily convert into set, and then you can convert back into list. Understood, everyone? So this is a very common question in interviews and all, that remove duplicate elements from the list. So you can use this technique, not a problem. Okay, so good. But anyhow, we will introduce set in detail, so you'll get some clarity about the set data structure. But I just used it today, not introduced anything. Okay, so this is about third point, that duplicate elements. Okay, duplicate elements are allowed in both list and tuple. Okay, so let's talk about the fourth point now. Let us talk about the fourth point. We know that from strings, that even both list and tuple, both list and tuple support both positive and negative index, right? So it supports both positive and negative index. So we know that if I take L is equal to 1, 2, 3, L is equal to 1, 2, 3, we know that it gets created as something like a list. Okay, a list with 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. It will have both positive indexes, and it will have both negative indexes. It will have both positive indexes and negative indexes. So you know that L of 0 will print you 1. Okay, L of -1 will print you 3, and you can just do the same thing with the tuple as well. Okay, you can do same thing with the tuple as well. Let me show you with an example. For example, it looks internally same, guys. 1 comma 2 comma 3, a tuple, sorry, it's parenthesis. A tuple also gets created something like this. We have 1, 2, and 3. It will also have positive and negative indexes like 0, 1, and 2. It will have -1, -2, -3. So again, guys, people generally get confused here, that they uses parentheses here. Never. Whenever you use subscript, guys, you have to use square brackets only. Whenever is it a tuple or a list, does not matter. This is a subscript, not as you use for list to declare. This is a subscript we use with everything, like whether it is a string, whether it is a list or tuple. So don't use parentheses here, because I just wanted to tell you, because I've seen people using parentheses instead of square bracket as it is a tuple. No, I'm just accessing the value, so it will be perfectly okay that we will use this square brackets only. So there is a question from Abhishek, like, can we use the name method to list and tuple that we learn in strings? No, no, you cannot use those methods, Abhishek, because they are only meant for string. As I have used in my example, if you are worried about this example, I have used join method on string, not on list. I pass the parameter as a list. Okay, so I'm not using this join method with list. So we cannot use methods available in one class with other class object. That's what the basic fundamental of object-oriented programming. Like if any methods are present in one class, they can only be accessed with that object only. Like string methods can access only with string object. List methods can be accessed only with list object. Tuple methods can be accessed with tuple object. Got it, Abhishek? Very good question from Abhishek. So if everybody got it now, that you cannot use one class method with another object, guys. Here I use join method, but I use join method on string, and I just convert it into list, because the output looks very odd, like it's printing me as a list. I don't want to be printed as a list. I want it to be printed as it is. So based on your requirement, you will be using the methods actually. Okay, you will be using the methods. So thank you, Abhi. Yeah. So we put it as a string. That's why, yeah. So it's a space here. I'm saying that every element of list you join with a space. That's the beauty of join. I told you, Satyam, that a lot of time we'll use this while printing an output, because I don't want output to be printed as a list or tuple or something. I wanted to print it as a string. So join method is very useful, converting from list to string or tuple to string actually, and print it. Okay, very useful method. Split method, join method. I told you these are the very important methods available, which will convert into list and tuple actually. So let me check. Did everyone follow? Is that clear with these 2 points, guys? Okay, so let me put Abhishek question as well to all of you. Okay, please go through with this because this is very important thing. Okay, so so basically through input split, we took input as string, as later we can change it to list. Yes, of course. Like what we did is we have took string obviously, and split method has converted to me a list because whenever I give space separated value, then I get a list out of it because my requirement is I want to get a list out of it. That's my requirement. That's why I just converted that into list now so that I can make use of that list. Okay, so this is a question from Abhishek. I hope you all got it. Like, can we use the same method to list and tuple? That's we have learned in strings. Okay, perfect. Now let's go here and talk about more points. Okay, so I hope it's clear that it supports both positive index as well as negative index. Okay, now let me go here and talk about the fifth point. The fifth point we would like to talk about here is that both support slicing as well. Okay, we learn very interesting concept called slicing. So it perfectly supports slicing. So both of them supports slicing. So the same syntax for slicing again, the same syntax for list and the tuple. We all know that syntax for them. Okay, we all familiar with the syntax. The syntax for list slicing and tuple slicing will be like this. Okay, you can take the element, you can have the start value, okay, colon, you can have the stop value, colon, and you can have step value. So that's why I told you whatever you learn in string will be very useful because they all comes under the one category called sequential type. So positive index, negative index, okay, use of membership operator, everything will be similar here now. So we all know that all the three are optional and this will be the stop value. So perfectly fine. I can just check with some list here. I can create some list or a tuple. I can just check the slicing and something. Like I can say 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and 60. Suppose I have these elements in my list now. You know that when I say 1 colon 4, can you tell me what will be the output when I say 1 colon 4? 1 colon 4. Anybody? 1 colon 4. What it gets printed? 20 to 30 or 20 to 40? Come on, we should not have any confusion because we know that starting index and in the ending index, an ending index will not be included. Very good. So actually 10 will have 0 index, 20 have 1 index, 30 has 2, and 40 has 3. 50 actually has 4th index, but it will not be printed because 50 will not be printed, so it will be 20, 30, 40. 10, 20, 30, 40 because 10 starts with 0 index. So that way 0 index gets printed, then second index value gets printed, third index value gets printed, fourth index value gets printed. Okay, I mean third index. Fourth index will not be printed because we know that end value is not included here. End value is not included. But when I say, yeah, 50 is not included. That's true, Vishwajit. Now when I say colon colon, then obviously everything gets printed. Okay, when I say colon colon minus 1, that way I can reverse the list completely very easily. All the things gets reversed. We all know about it. And I can also skip some elements like I wanted to print from 0. Okay, I want to go till n and I wanted to go 2 steps. Perfectly fine. It will print me 10, 30, and 50. So that way I can go 2 steps ahead. So I can use my start index, stop index, step value, either negative or positive, stepping by 2 or 1, whatever. You can do very easily because same with string, we did a lot of this slicing. So I hope it's very clear, and slicing with list is much easier than any other thing like strings and all. It will make very easy for you. Okay, so that way I can make use of this slicing and everything. Okay, so is that clear for everyone? Okay, thank you. Okay. Aditi says yes, clear. Shikawat, Rajshekhar, Narendra, everybody says it's perfectly clear. It's perfectly clear. Okay, I'll just show you. Let us see, do we have a lab exercises on that? And then we'll go for the next topic called differences. Okay, we'll talk about it, its differences actually. So I'll search for list. Okay, and fine. I will just search for list again. Yeah. So here is the elements in the list. So anyhow, this requires some more knowledge. So we'll come back to this program. I think we did this program, right? Second largest element, we learn how to use sorted function, and from that I can print using index second largest element. Then we also learn that how to swap the first element with the last element by just using indexing and slicing. But we learn that be careful with slicing and indexing. So because that's what we are learning now, slicing and indexing. I think that is a good example here. We did already, so this example suit for whatever we are discussing. Nextly, let's see what lab we have now. Okay, but again, to store the perfect numbers and all, we require logic, but it's very interesting actually. Okay, anyhow, I'll check. Do we have a program to read the list of words and return the words with the longest length? Like for example, can you do like this? Python, PyCharm, Anaconda, and Jupyter, and you return the word with the longest length, which has the longest length actually. Okay, I hope the question is clear. You have to enter the list of words like Python, PyCharm, Anaconda, and Jupyter. You have to read a list of words and return the word with the longest length. So here Anaconda has the longest length. So you should return Anaconda with the length of that Anaconda. Okay, so please try for this logic because working on list is very, very important. And actually it will be interesting. Something like working with arrays and all, working with list is very, very interesting. So this data structures like list, arrays, I mean to say string, list, tuple, they are dictionary, they are very interesting actually to work with. So I'll give you 2 minutes. Please work on this, then I'll show you how to implement this. Yeah, anyone completed, guys? Okay. Yeah, I can see like perfect. So I'm taking a list of words. Okay. And you're reading till the length. Yeah, perfect. Yeah. Thank you, Ubul. Thank you, Nitin. So good to see. Yeah, looking good, Kudal. That's perfect. You can accept the list and then you can check the length. And if the length is greater than that element, and you can store that length. Very good. But do you able to print that where it found? Okay, no problem. Okay, so you can print. No, no, not index exactly, but are you able to print the same string? The word with the longest length is anaconda. I want that string to be printed. Okay, Kudal, is it working for you that the string is getting printed? Yeah, then it okay. Okay, that's what my concern. The string should be printed that way. Fine. So if you wish, I'll show you here that how can you do that. Let's complete this code and then go for the next topic. Okay. So here is my program. Very simple. Nothing. You just need to traverse the list. So I'll say list is equal to, either you can use eval or better because we are accepting as a list of words. So I will say input and I will ask enter list of words. Enter list of words. So I can say enter list of words now. So user will enter list of words. I'll take one variable called m, stored for maximum. And first I will store the length of, because the length can be 0. So basically first is better to store the length of the first element. So we know that first element length can be stored like this. Okay, length of first element can be stored like this, but length uses the parenthesis because it's a function, use parenthesis. So there is always a confusion between square brackets and parenthesis. We need to careful that. Okay, so that is a maximum. We store the length, and we take one temporary variable where we store the first element, where we store the first element here. And I'll take a for loop for every I value in that list. I'll copy one by element from the list now, and I'll check if the length of I, the length of I, any element, if it is greater than that maximum value, if it is greater than that maximum value, I will store that maximum value, okay, in length of I. I'll store the maximum. Anyhow, I'm not printing the maximum element, is perfectly fine. Here, what is important is T. I will store that ith element in T. That is more important here. Okay. Now here I will go here now and I can print it completely. I can, that's what I done with it. So I can say the word or the maximum longest length is longest word, longest word, and I can print the longest word here, and that will be in T. Okay, that will be in T. That's all. So let me run this code now, and I take the input directly from my okay, not directly from here. So I'll just go here and directly I'll try to take it. I think the quotation will create me a problem, so that's fine. I'll change it. So here I'll take the list of words. Okay, but the quotation created me a problem. Okay, so I'll put in quotes and then PyCharm. Okay, and then we'll have anaconda. Okay, then we can also print the length. Okay, we can also print the length if you want, but anyhow I'm not printing length. I'll press enter. Longest word is anaconda. Okay, longest word is anaconda. If you wanted to print the length of it, I can also print it. Longest word is anaconda with length, with len, with length, and I can print that length of it, which is max value. That will be perfectly okay. Now I'll run this code here, and oh, I have used not comma. So okay, let's print it out. So when we run this code now and we copy this whole list, and it gets printed here. Okay, so that way you can see I need a square brackets here. Okay, and I press enter. Now it prints that longest word is anaconda with length 8, with length 8. I, for example, I have included something else here. Okay, then it gets printed. Like for example, I have included something like I'll just run this code again and try to check with a different string now. Okay, I will include one more element here now. So maybe in the first place or maybe in the middle of it. Second place I will enter something like, for example, okay, I will take one name, one of your name here. Okay, fine. So I will say something like longest word. Okay, longest word. So let's run this code now and see that the second element, which is longest word, gets printed. Okay, so I'll press enter now, and it says that longest word is longest word with a length of 12. Okay, so that's very simple, but nothing great. I just find the length of it, okay, and then we compare the length with that maximum element. If anytime it founds, I store that length and I store that I in temporary because I contains that element. We just need to check the length of that. So any of the length is greater than the length we have, then we can make use of it. Thank you, Vishwajit. Okay, looks similar, so perfectly fine. I hope this code is clear, everyone. I hope this code is clear for everyone. Okay, thank you, Nitin. Any questions, please let me know. Yeah, thank you, Obul. Thank you, Satyam. Thank you, Abhishek. Okay, no problem, Vishwajit. I hope you're following. Yeah, what happened to Aditi? Yeah, Shikawa, they are very silent today. Any questions? Obul, they are all silent. Okay, so anyhow, I hope, yeah, Roshan, I will just explain it. That's fine. Okay. Yeah, thank you. Fine. So let's say, is this because of topic, Aditi? Okay, fine. Because list is, I hope it's very important and interesting concept, but that's fine. Okay, so input and say enter list of words. Okay, so we accept the list of words. Yeah, T is equal to I works to store the element actually Narendra. Okay, so it stores the element. Let me explain you with an example. For example, you insert some word like Python, PyCharm, Anaconda, and everything. So first time it will store the length of the first word, and the T will be stored as a first element. Now it will compare. Okay, no need for that actually. This you can skip it, but still I need to have something in T so that it will store for the first time, right? So I'm just storing the first element here now. So for I in L, it copies the first element in I in from that list, and it checks the length of I is greater than M or not. If length of I is greater than M, okay, meaning the length of any element in the list, if it is greater than the maximum what we have length here, then I'm storing that new length, and T is equal to I actually copy the word Narendra, which word got the maximum length. If I don't store it, then it is difficult to print. That's what I was asking, like, can it, because when I just see Kudal's square point, actually Kudal, you're not storing that element, so I'm just worried, like, are you able to print that element? Okay, because this is very important, that if you don't store that element in I, then we don't know. We can find the maximum length. Okay, we can see which got the maximum length, but our intention is to print the word also. That's why I'm storing T is equal to I, so that whichever the element found the maximum length, that element will be stored in T. So T contains a temporary variable, which that element will be stored in that temporary variable. M will contain the length maximum length of that word, and that word will be stored in T. Narendra, you got it? Same with Roshan. Roshan, you got it now? Yeah, thank you. Let me check with Roshan. Roshan, did you got it? Yeah, thank you. So let's go and let's go for the next important topic here. Okay, let's talk about for next some time. Yeah, Ubul has sent us, sir, the output and input is same. Why, sir? Actually, I'm not storing replace value in that T. Okay, so there's a question from Ubul. Ubul, is that okay if you can send me the same again at the end of the session so that I can check? Okay, that's perfect. Now let's go here. So we're done with these things, but let me talk about the next important point here. Okay, the next important point here I would like to talk about. The third point I would like to talk about is their differences. Listen very carefully. Okay, till now we'll talk about okay their similarities and how to create the list and how to create the tuple. Most important interview question starts from here, their differences actually. Let's talk about what are their differences. Okay, what are their differences? Okay, the first difference I would like to talk about here, that list versus tuple is list is mutable, list is mutable, and tuple is immutable. Tuple is immutable. See, here you get that when to use list and when to use tuple, guys. Okay, here in this point you will get when to use list and when to use tuple. Okay, so listen very carefully what is mean by mutable and what is mean by immutable. We already see this, but let us see again with an example. Let us see again with an example so that we can, anybody if they ask, okay, tell me any difference between list and tuple, the first thing comes in your mind is list is mutable, but your tuple is immutable, meaning it can be changed. Okay, list can be changed, but tuple cannot be changed. Okay, meaning that it can be changed, it can be changed, but it cannot be changed. Tuple cannot be changed, the object cannot be changed. The object cannot be changed, but mutable means it can be changeable actually. Let me explain you with an example. Let me explain you with an example. Now we have an example here. We take list is equal to 1 2 3. List is equal to 1 2 3. Okay, we know that an object gets created here with an element like 1 2 3. An object gets created and L will be pointing to this, so L address will be 2001. Tell me what happens when I say L plus is equal to 4. L plus is equal to 4. I'm concatenating a list now. I'm concatenating a list. Okay, so please tell me when I say L plus is equal to 4, then what happens now? The 4 will be added in the same list. The 4 will be added in the same list or another list gets created. 4 will be added in the same list or another list will be created. Very good. Shikawat says it will be same address. Aditi says it's same list. Okay. No, Satyam. It's not another list. It will be same list. That's what called mutability. Mutability means what? The object can be changed now. Yeah, very good. So 4 will be added here now. 4 will be added. Let me prove this. Let me prove this with what I can say is with their addresses. Let me prove this with addresses now. Then you will understand how the things gets work. Now let me run this code again, and you can see here that I create a list. Let's say L is equal to 1 comma 2 comma 3. I create this list. I will also print the ID of L. So ID of L will be printed something like 2408. This is my ID, original object address where the object got created. That is the original object address. Okay, perfectly fine. Now what I will do is I will just say that I wanted to add an element to it. So I will say L plus is equal to 4. L plus is equal to 4. No dot list contain 1, 2, 3, 4 now. But when I check the ID of L, it will tell me the same address. It will tell me the same address as before. It means that the address has not been changed. The address has not been changed. It will be the same address. So this proves that list is mutable because after that also same address is getting printed. So when I print the ID of L here and when I print the ID of L here, it will be same. Okay, the addresses will be same here now. The addresses will be same. So that's way I can say that the list is mutable, meaning that same list can be changed. An object is changeable actually. You can add or subtract or the data from that particular list now. That is a thing. But on the other hand, list is immutable. On the other hand, list tuple is immutable. Sorry, tuple means if I create a tuple like this, 1 comma 2 comma 3, we know that what happens now, a tuple gets created like 1 comma 2 comma 3 with some address like 2001, and it referred by t. It referred by t. You know what, when I say t plus is equal to 4, t plus is equal to 4, what will be the output now? T plus is equal to 4, t plus is equal to 4, t plus is equal to 4. A new tuple gets created, or see on the same tuple it gets added. A new tuple is get created. Okay, like new reference gets created or new tuple is getting created. Yeah, Nitin says is 1 2 3 4 with new tuple. New tuple gets created. Okay, how can you prove that? How can you prove that new tuple is getting created? Check the address. Very good, very good. That's what I was checking, guys, because some of you were asking something is missing there. So I think I have to go from the beginning now, then I have to discuss the same thing what I have discussed long time back. Okay, did you remember, guys, I told you how to create a single element of tuple? Okay, that's what people asking that comma is missing, because it will give an error actually. This sentence will give an error because it will be treated as an integer, guys. Remember, be careful. That's why our previous knowledge helps always. So always we need to have presence of mind, and we see that will it get any error or not. Okay, perfect. Yeah, that's what Vishwajit, if we realize, I think it will be good. Like it will give an error actually. So when I say t is equal to 1 comma 2 comma 3, perfectly fine. And when I say t is equal to, okay, t is equal to, or t plus is equal to, I'll print the id of t, no problem. It will print me some id, let it be 8880. And now when I say t plus is equal to bracket 4, I will be getting an error, guys. It says can only concatenate tuple with tuple, not with integer. You get shocked that I put parentheses, but why it's complaining? Because we already learned that 4 with a single brackets always treated as an integer, not as a tuple. So that's where you need to be careful the way you add a single tuple to that. To add a single tuple into that, you have to use comma. Okay, make sure you use comma even though you're adding a single element. Now you print a tuple. Note out it prints you 1 2 3 4. Note out it prints you 1 2 3 4. Seems like okay, tuple has been added, but when you print the id of t, you will see that the id will be different here. The id is different. Previously, when the tuple was 123, the ID was 8880. But when I added 4 to it, it has been changed to 4424, meaning that has been changed. Yeah, that's true. Ubul and I hope Satyam, okay, sorry, Udit has asked about it, like where is the comma and all. So good, thank you. So let's get into and prove this in a diagram that what happens in this particular time. Yeah, that's true. Okay. Yeah, so let's get into it. So what is missing here? The comma is missing, so we need to put comma here. Okay, and then what happens now? A new tuple gets created with 1 2 3 4. Another tuple gets created, and say that 3001. Say that 3001, and t will be pointing to this thing now. Okay, t will be pointing here. So a new tuple is getting created because it is immutable. This object cannot change this object now. That's what mean by mutable, and that is mean by immutable. I'll show you one more example. I'll show you one more example to prove it, that what is mean by immutable and what is mean by mutable. So this is example 1. Let's see example 2 here, that we know that when I create list is equal to 1 2 3, list is equal to 1 2 3. Tell me, can I say L of 0 is equal to 999? Can I say L of 0 is equal to 999? Why, Satyam? Why do you think that we cannot say L of 0 is equal to 999? Yes, we can do that, right? It's mutable. It's mutable again. That's the same thing what we are talking, that list is mutable. So I'll run this code now, and you can see here that I can change that element from the list, no problem at all. I can say L is equal to 1 2 3, okay, and I can say L of 0 is equal to 999. Yeah, L of 0 is equal to 999. Changing the index value? No. Through the index value, I'm changing the element. Through the index value, I'm changing the element, so that's perfectly fine. So when I print L now, it prints me that 999, 2 and 3. Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. So it can be changeable, guys. Even it will be the same address. You print the address before and address after, it's the same thing. It is perfectly fine. But same thing is not possible with tuple, guys. When you say 1 comma 2 comma 3, you know what happens when I say t of 0 is equal to 999? T of 0 is equal to 999. T of 0 is equal to 999. Error. Very good. We'll get error. Why we'll get error? Because tuple does not support assignment. Tuple is immutable. We cannot change the values. Very good, Upul. Okay. So everybody says correct that it will give an error that tuple assignment not possible. Tuple object does not support item assignment. I didn't got the error. Looking same, right? Looking both of them are same. Only the difference is only square bracket and parenthesis. Otherwise, everything looks same. But it's saying error here, but it's not an error because list is mutable, tuple is immutable. Okay, these are the important points you need to talk about list versus tuple, guys. These are the important point you will be talking about list versus tuple. So I can say here tuple is equal to 1 comma 2 comma 3. Tuple is equal to 1 comma 2 comma 3. I can say tuple of 0 is equal to 999. This will get me an error. This will get me an error. No removal, no addition of elements in the same tuple object. Very perfect. Very perfect. So it will be different. Okay. And also here the addresses, the ID will not be same. Okay, the ID will be different here. Okay, so that's what I wanted to prove here, that list is mutable and tuple is immutable. So when I print ID of t will be different and ID of t here will be different. So these are the couple of examples to show you what is the ID, how can we check the list and tuple differences. Okay, the first difference is a major difference here, that list versus tuple. So list is mutable, tuple is immutable. Let me check, anybody having any questions? Anybody having any questions till now? Yeah, thank you, Nitin. Yeah, thank you, Abul. Yeah, thank you, Vishwajit. Everyone says no question. Okay, let me go for the second point now. Let us see some minor differences as well. Basically, it takes more memory. Okay, it takes more memory or more space. Okay, sorry, Satyam, I didn't got it, but I hope it's okay, right? So the topic is clear, right? Okay, so it will take more space. Okay, it will take more space and it will take less space. It will take less space. Basically, why it will take more space? Because it is mutable. So it has to keep track of more data to be added. So that's why it will take more space. It will take less space because it is not changeable actually. So that's why. But we can prove that. We can prove that how list will take more space and tuple will take less space. Let me prove that. Let me prove that. For example, I will create a list of a big element. Like for example, I'll say list of, okay, range of some elements like 1 to some 1001, 1 to some 1001, some 10,001, whatever it may be. I will just created a list now. I will also import one more module called sys module, because using that I can get the size of it. Okay, so I can say import sys. So that module gets imported now. Now I will create a tuple, something similar. Okay, tuple of. We know that tuple will create a tuple of this. So I can say range of same tuple 1 comma 1001. Okay, let's see a big list and a big tuple I'm creating, because I'm not interested to print list and tuple. It will create me a list of some big element actually. Okay, now what I wanted to do is I wanted to print the size of list and size of tuple. So let me print the first list one. So I wanted to print list one, so I can say sys dot get size of. Get size of is a function which actually get the size of that particular list. It gets the size of the particular list. Same thing I'll do for tuple to print the size of the tuple. Now you can see the difference in space, so that how big difference will have been tuple and the list here. Now, so I will print tuple here, so they can see the tuple and also change the variable name to t here now. Also change the variable name to t here. So when I run this code now, you'll see here that both has a big difference. Do you see a big difference between them? 90112 and 80048. 80048. As we keep increasing these values, you will find there more differences. Okay, you'll find more differences now. Okay, so let's run the code now, and you can see here it's big difference now. Okay, it's a big difference here now. So that way you can see that list is always taking some extra memory, and tuple is taking some different memory now. So I hope it makes sense now that list taking more memory. Yes, that's perfect. Why is that tuple take less memory? Because Aditi, you don't have to. It's mutable, right? It cannot be changed. It's immutable. Sorry, it cannot be changed. It doesn't need any extra space because, as Udit says, there is no addition and removal. Aditi, fixed. The size is fixed. But in list, it's dynamic. Okay, it can be added new element. It can be removed. So it has to maintain some extra space. List always has to maintain some extra space. So there's a formula so that it will maintain some space, and once that be done, it will come out of it automatically. Okay, so I hope this makes sense now that list is take more space, and that's the reason sometimes list iterating on list also takes more time. So it will also take more time when compared to tuple because it has to go through. So it will take more time as well, especially iterating will take more time. Okay, and this will take less time. This will take less time here now. Okay, list will take more time, and this will take less time. Few important points you need to remember here, that if frequent operation, okay, frequent operation if frequent operation is insertion, if frequent operation is insertion and deletion, go for list. If frequent operation is retrieval, if frequent operation is retrieval, then go for it. So when I search help of list, it gives, okay, you're talking about function, Obul. It's retrieving you the function, list function. We know that list function takes iteratable, and it can convert into a list. That's what it's talking about. But if frequent operation is retrieval, if frequent operation is retrieval, then you have to use tuple. So use list if frequent operation is insertion and deletion. How it will take more time? Basically, list will take more time because it has more space, Kudal, and also it's slow in performance. It's slow in performance. If you want, you can calculate the time and check. Let's try with that. Can we calculate the time and check how much time it's taking for performing this action? Okay, or I can write some logic here so that I can find some list addition of all these things. Okay, then with the tuple same, and I can print the time because we have a module called time. Okay, and you can check the starting time and ending time with that. Kudal, you want me to show that, or is it okay? Because as the list takes more elements, okay, and extra space, so iterating will be more time. But anyhow, you can try for that, Kudal. I'll tell you what you can do is include the time module. Just perform addition here, but you don't know. I'm worried about like you don't do list comprehension. That is the next topic we will be talking about. Because for adding the elements of all the things, suppose you have 100 elements in the list now. Okay, you have 100 elements in the list. Now you wanted to add all the 100 elements from the list or 1000 elements in the list and the tuple. So you need some logic for list comprehension. So please remind me, I will show this example once we do with the list comprehension. While iterating, it depends only on the present element. Yes, that's true. But it depends on the present element, but generally the list actually generating of list will be done, Kudal. It is not in the present element. You're saying for I in list. So list already taking a space, so the condition will be quite checking that end here now. Because as tuple is immutable, so it will be fixed, so no extra time will be taken for checking whether the data is added or data is deleted and all. So it has to keep track of extra space as well, Kudal, while iterating. Okay. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine. Let us try to check with that if possible. I'll iterate over it and try to check with that. For I, okay, in list, for I in list, and say pass. Nothing I will do, nothing I will do. I'll just iterate over it. Let's try to find it whether the statement is true or wrong. Let's try to find it this way. This is not the appropriate way because we need to perform some operation, but let us at least check what happens now. Okay, it's not about iterating. For any operation, list will take more time. So I will teach you one more example possibly, but let me show you that. For example, I'll take the start time. So I will use this time module dot time so that I can calculate the time in milliseconds. Then I will print the time. List time I will print it now. So how to print the list time? I'll say current time I will calculate now. Time dot time. Okay, current time minus starting time. I will multiply with 1000 so to get in seconds actually. To get in seconds, time minus s, sorry, it will be minus s, starting time, multiply with 1000 because it will return me in milliseconds. So this is how I can calculate the time for list generally. Okay, that is a way I can calculate the time for list. So okay, I can go here, and same thing I will do for tuple now. Same thing I will do for tuple. I'll say s is equal to time dot time. I'll calculate the starting time. I'll iterate for a tuple now for I in t, for I in t, and then I'll just say pass, do nothing. Okay, and then I can print it out. Same thing for tuple. Same thing for tuple, I can print it out. So when I say here now, okay, for tuple, I'll be printing, okay, instead of list, I'll say tuple. Okay, tuple and parenthesis missing, I'll put parenthesis here now. But let me also increase the size of the array because for small data, it doesn't look good. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, that will be perfectly fine. Let me run and check, do we find any difference? Okay, oh, it's taking long time. I need to reduce it, I think. Yeah, but the time was calculated wrong. Is that did we do anything wrong? Okay, is that okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 and on. Okay, anyhow, I will show you this again with the operations. Okay, I'll perform some operation and I will show you. So that's why we use this particular thing. So anyhow, it's showing us a tuple iterating is more time than list. Let me add one more zero here. Okay, and check with that now. So let's check that whether list is taking more time, or tuple is taking more time. So tuple is taking a little more time here than compared to list because obviously let's interchange the thing and check what happens. Anyhow, the starting time and ending time is different. That's perfectly fine for us. Okay, now you see list is taking more time. So that's a very minor change here, but generally I'm just looping it, guys. I'm just looping it. If I perform some action, like I want to add all the elements of the list, or I want to add all the elements of the tuple, then you can find the differences. But this is how you can check the differences, guys. You can calculate the current time, and you can subtract with the starting time. So that way you get that some time here. And same thing you can do with this particular thing. Not exactly, Aditi. I cannot say, it depends on the first it comes. Okay, but generally, uh, I just come up with, I will try to add all the elements and then see what happens now. Because that's true as Udit, or sorry, Kudal says, because iterating generally depends on the current element. So, but generally it will keep track of that extra element actually. It will keep track of that extra space. But when you keep adding, then it will take more time. But actually, it's not the major point we need to concentrate with, like more time and less time. But one of the point can be considered that list may take more time and tuple may take less time. That can be one of the points. So basic important points is mutable and immutable, And the last point I will be discussing tomorrow, which is the next important topic we will be discussing, that it has more methods. List has more methods. Okay, which syntax? Sorry, Narendra, Vishwajit. No, it's first come always first is not like that. Don't worry about that example. I'll show you one more example. Don't worry, Vishwajit. I was just calculating like this. I created a list here. I created a tuple here with big element. Okay, and I'm calculating the time. I'm calculating the time. So I'm calculating the time. Okay, I'm calculating the time. There is nothing syntax here, Narendra. I'm just calculating the time. Time dot time will get you the starting time here. Okay, and yeah, the current time minus the starting time, the previous time will get you the total time. Total time to iterate this for loop. How much time it has taken to iterate this for loop will execute. That's why it's printing me the current time. I will calculate, subtract with s, and then multiply with 1000. So individual for tuple and individual for list. Perfect. I'm calculating individual for tuple and individual for list here now. I'm calculating. So that way I can able to find out that how much time it's taking and how much time this is taking. But I don't find big difference between them. So I will change this formula. Instead of looping it, I will add some formula when we talk about list comprehension. Please remind me this example so that I can prove you once again. But it's okay if you can write this example, you can prove that tuple is taking or list is taking more than tuple, that's perfectly fine. But there is a minor difference, guys, because they are same actually. Okay, yeah, complex operations it will work with different. That's true with it. But there will be minor difference because list and tuple are same. Memory definitely makes sense, but time generally people will never prefer. Okay, that's why I just added that point. So sometimes it can make sense that a list may take some more time to work with, but tuple will take less time because there is no addition and deletion. But in the list, it can be addition and deletion happen, so it has to maintain some extra space. Okay, Vishwajit and Narendra, is that clear for you all? The next point is it has more methods. Please note down, tomorrow we will discuss. It has more method. Tuple has only two methods, less methods. Less methods, okay, only two methods. So let's see what are the only two methods available. Like we learn many methods from string, so tomorrow's class we will talk about methods as well as list comprehension. We'll talk about list comprehension, one of the very important and interesting topic. I mean Monday. Okay, so have a nice weekend, guys. Let's, as it is Saturday, so let's end up 15 minutes before. Enjoy that 15 minutes. Okay, so if it is a holiday, then I hope everybody is at home, can go to sleep, enjoy. Okay, have a great weekend, and then solve problems from list and tuple tomorrow. Okay, or evening time whenever you're free. You please try to solve because this is one of the very important thing. Okay, yeah, thank you, Udit. Have a great weekend. Thank you, Prashanti. Thank you, Nitin. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, Ubul, I will stay back to answer your question. Okay, please stay back. We'll answer. Yeah, thank you, Vishwajit. Same here. Stay home, stay safe, everyone. Yeah, have a good day, Rajshekhar. Have a good day. Vamshi, thank you. Bye, Vishwajit. Yeah, thank you, Abhishek. Yeah, thank you, Shikawat. Okay, so Ubul, please, I'll just take your code now. Okay, and try to put it. So let me explain you, Ubul. Okay, yeah. Thank you, Narendra. Have a nice weekend. Yeah. Sorry, Aditi. What are those two methods? Okay, I'll tell what are those two methods. It has two methods like index and count. You can check, Aditi. You can always check. You can check. We are going to discuss tomorrow anyhow. But we can check what are the methods from list and what are the methods from tuple. Okay, we can always check. So let me run this and show you. Yeah, only names I'm telling. So I will tell you tomorrow about those methods. So suppose you have a list now. List has many methods. When I say dir of l, you see that list has many methods. List has methods like append, clear, copy, count, extend, index, insert, pop, remove, reverse, sort, everything. Okay, but I told you that tuple has only two methods. Okay, index and count. So when I create a tuple now, you know how to create an empty tuple. And when I say dir of t, it's something like it has only two methods like count and index. You don't find any other method because you cannot append. Append is like adding an element to that, Aditi. Okay, all methods are self-explanatory. So it will take half an hour for me to explain all these methods and then go for the next topic tomorrow. I mean Monday. Okay, but if you want, you can try for that because these methods will help you for solving list and tuple programs from our set 2. Make sure you do all the programs by this Monday so that from Monday you can start doing programs on dictionary, because from Monday we'll start a new data type. After this, actually, after completing this topic, we'll start a new data type. Okay, so perfect. So I just shown you what are the methods here. Okay, how to get the least significant bit from a number. You need to keep dividing, Anjali, with modulus, taking that one and keep shifting from the left side. Or if it is like from number, then you can just divide it by 10. If it is two-digit number and all, depends on the length of the number, you can get it and you can give the least significant bit. Like, you know, modulus division will give you remainder, right? And you can get the least significant bit of that. No, Satyam. Dir actually shows you everything from that class. Class generally contain attributes and methods. List is a class, tuple is a class, string is a class, integer is a class, Satyam. Everything is a class in Python. So when you ask him what class contains, so it's showing you the content of the class. Class actually contain attributes and methods. So these are the attributes. It contains information, guys, and these are the methods. Okay, got it, Satyam? Anjali, is it okay for you? How to get the least significant bit? Use integer division. Okay, use integer division, and then you get the value based on the length of that number. Okay, now I'll just go here, and Ubul is having one question. Let me paste that code. Yeah, Ubul, let me know what is your question from this code. This is your code, right? And you're saying t is equal to n dot replace. Okay, so what was your question, Ubul? N dot replace, perfectly fine. Wherever it finds, it replaces that value. Yeah, this is a question from, we did this, right? We did this to remove punctuation from this thing. It getting same output. Because I think you didn't added a space here. There's no space. Okay, you want to replace with an empty string. Perfectly fine. See, because string is mutable, immutable. Sorry, Ubul. You have to store it in n because you are printing maybe n or something. Yeah, that's what I'm telling. You can just print n now. You can print n. That's what we need to understand, that all these methods, as string is immutable, the same string cannot be changed. Okay. Let me just write the string here. Hello, which contains some dollar hash at the rate. Okay, at the rate or something. Hash is not getting removed because it included hash, but it's getting replaced. Okay, Ubul, I hope you got it now. Okay. String is not preferable, sir, because user has to add all character except alphabets. Sorry, Kudal, I didn't get you. Satyam, if I change it to T, then T is a new string actually. It's not replacing the same string. It's returning me what it get replaced. So it's not correct. It's not correct to store it actually. It will be something different. To the same string, you wanted to change it every time. Keeping the original thing same, you wanted to replace this particular thing. So that's why it is better to store it in T then. Otherwise, you are saying store it in T and then you are calling n dot replace, which is wrong. Because T contains nothing actually. It contains empty string. Got my point? Okay, so that's why it's wrong to say that another variable. You have to store it in the same variable. Ubul, I hope you got the same. Because T is empty thing, Ubul. T doesn't contain anything. If you do this way, then it's perfectly fine. T is equal to n. You store that value in n, and then you say T, and then write T. Then I hope it will work. Because T contains empty string, and you're trying to do that way. So that way, it will not be good. For example, now I will enter hello. Okay, I'll enter hello in double quotes, let's say, and I will enter dollar here. I will enter at the rate, comma, something. Okay, it's not changing, you see, because n dot replace. Okay, n dot replace. That's what I'm saying, that you should apply to the same string again, because again, what happens, T will remain same because you're replacing it. Important which object you're calling on. Okay, that's what. No need to do that. You can change the same value because you're calling on that object and that object returns that particular value because string is immutable. That is why we are storing in n again. Yeah, using temp but not needed, Aditi. Not needed to use temp here because again, be careful with the string because what is present in the string and what it returns is something different. Yeah. Okay. Ubul, I hope you got it. Okay, thank you, Satyam. Is that clear for you? Satyam, Aditi, Vishwajit, like people like who wanted to check with. Okay, Kudal, I hope it's clear as well. Mention string in the above program as something. Otherwise, we can use is alpha function. Yes, perfect. That's true. That's true, Kudal. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. This is all for today. We'll see you on Monday. Okay. Have a nice weekend. Yeah. Thank you, Aditi. Have a great weekend. Thank you, Rajshekhar. Yeah. Thank you, Anjali. Yeah, have a nice day. We'll have a nice weekend. So we'll take a leave now. Okay, bye.